What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Unplayable, the conversation lab, all about Star Wars Unlimited. I'm DHaus here with Jay, Jim, and Mike. Yes, Jim is back from his responsibilities, reporting on the weather from Tatooine. I know you guys were worried, but he's back. Jim, how are you today?
I am great today. For those following along, today's a Monday that we're recording, so yay Mondays. Best day of the week, some might say. Yeah, I haven't been able to play a ton of SWU recently, gonna be honest, but overall, doing great. Missed you guys a lot. I'm sorry that I'm the loser of the group that has not won a store showdown. That's on me. Someone's got to bring down the average, and that's me today.
We're playing Moneyball. It's all right.
That's right. Just get on base.
Mike, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's the time of year where it is like 105 degrees outside, and I hate it. But other than that, very excited for Set 2. I cannot wait. There's 2 pre-releases happening in my small little town, so very excited about that because I don't have to drive like 15 minutes to go to a pre-release.
Nice.
I can just do 2 that are 5 minutes away.
It's been hot here, and it culminated in like a major thunderstorm 2 nights ago. And I discovered during the storm, it went for like 4 hours in the middle of the night, that my sump pump, which sucks all the water out of the ground and pushes it back out so that it doesn't flood the basement, got so overflown. There was like a small layer of water that got out in our laundry room. And luckily it was on cement. And I happened to have like 2 towels sitting near it that just like soaked up a bunch of the water.
Nice.
But the reason I bring it up is because my Star Wars Unlimited is like 10 feet from that room, like in a backpack sitting on the ground. And I literally had a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, that could have been so terrible.
You got to at least put it up on a shelf just in case.
I know. Well, it is now. It's right here next to me. It's up on the shelf. So I had a small like, okay, this is good perspective. Let's be
just
aware.
a tiny wake up call. I'm dying to know what Jay just pulled out of a bag.
I am too. I'm just like, you ain't slick over there.
No, I'm just waiting for my turn.
Jay, how are you today?
I'm doing well. It's not even that big of a deal. I just had something to show. My SWU this week hasn't been SWU, but it has been Star Wars related, and I went and got these sick Darth Maul comic books.
You posted about those in Discord. Those look so sick.
Those are awesome.
They do look awesome. This one's a variant edition. It looks pretty cool though. But all the artwork on all the covers look really cool. I'm stoked to read through the Darth Maul series, and I don't know how many. Yeah, I have no clue how many they're doing for this series, but I'm gonna buy them all.
Is it a new one?
Yeah, it just started, so there's only 2 issues out.
Nice.
Okay. I was wondering because in the Marvel Unlimited subscription I had, those aren't in there. So I was wondering if.
Yeah, I think Marvel Unlimited lags like 6 months or something crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez, 6 months.
Which is nuts. Like
that's a long time.
A long time.
Yeah. I don't think it's 6. I feel like March. I feel like I just read something from March of this year, so like 4 months. Okay,
so like 3 or 4 months.
But it's definitely not. Which makes sense. They're trying to sell,
right?
Comics.
Yeah, 100%.
But it doesn't bother me. There's such a backlog of good Star Wars content. I just started. I restarted the. Started or restarted? I honestly can't remember, but it's like the Vader 2014, 2015 Vader series when he like meets Afra for the first time, and I was like, oh,
so
this
good.
Is good. This is.
I have that entire thing in singles, 1/3, 25 or something like that. No, a bunch of variant editions for them too.
Nice.
Those are worth a lot of money now.
I don't think I knew that you collected actual comics. I've never heard you talk about
collect a lot of comics. I have select ones. Like when I go to the comic book store, if I see something cool, I'm like, okay, I'll start collecting these, and I'll grab those until the series is done, and then a few months later, if I see something cool. There is only one series that I go out of my way to check every comic book store to see if they have any singles. It's kind of like comic book hunting or whatever. There's a series called The Preacher, and it's like very adult-esque comic book series with this guy that ends up getting a superpower that's like the word of God. So like he says something and then like it happens or whatever. It's really cool. And I like it a lot. And the main character looks like my dad, and my dad is also a preacher, so it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Is there a movie or a TV series that
they did a TV show on it, and Seth Rogen, I think, was like the director for it, and it was terrible. It was not good.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief.
I liked the actors that were in it and the actresses that were in it. It just wasn't done very well. It's nothing like the comics either.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah. There's also a movie out there called Velocipaster.
yep, I've seen
And
it.
I have not watched it, but I have read the synopsis about
I know what I'm doing later.
a pastor going to like Asia
It's
and
like
somehow
Jurassic Park /
yes,
like-
yeah, he turns
they're like
into
zombies.
like a
It's like-
velociraptor and I don't know. But
It's based on a
that's
true
awesome.
story, so
yeah. All right, I don't have any fun Star Wars icebreakers this week, so you guys are off the hook this time.
It's not off the
What-
hook. That's the
what are
best
we
part of the
gonna do?
podcast.
I mean, I mean, I've got my list, so I can pull up the list if you're
It's
desperate
fine.
for it.
It's fine.
But let's jump in. We got so much to talk about. Let's talk about our weekend swoo. You guys kind of addressed it, but if you missed anything, I know we've been doing a lot of deck building, but anything else you want to contribute? I've got some to contribute, but I'll let you guys go first.
Well, we know Jim did nothing. Jay,
I played
Just
one
kidding.
event.
Jay and I played a bunch of games last week, I think, and then
Yeah, we did. We did.
David and I, we played a bunch of games last week when you were sick.
Yeah, we did.
So I don't know. I the whole set is spoiled now, which I don't know if we mentioned already.
Which is
but
awesome.
Very excited about that. So it's just been all deck building and trying to find cool stuff to do in set 2 and getting excited about all the new stuff, new cards, new leaders. It's been awesome.
Definitely. There's some crazy decks out there. It is
Yes.
the Wild
Yeah.
West right now, which is the funnest part, honestly, I think, is when you get a new set like this, especially the second set where the card pull doubles and
Yeah.
now the game has completely changed.
I was like, the way that my deck building brain works, though, I get so overwhelmed because I typically have like every card I can put into the deck and then whittle it down from there. And the moment you add a second set, I'm like, nope, this is too much.
So now your decks start at like 200 cards and you have to cut
For
like
a double
160.
green deck, yeah, 280 cards. I was like, oh my gosh.
No, I
That's
can't do it.
insane.
That's
It
great.
was nice. But now the deck is perfect. So
You're like
sorry about
you're
it.
like Michelangelo, where you know he sees
It's
the
there.
statue in the clay. It's there. He's just extracting it from the clay.
That's right.
You see the deck within.
Call me the sculptor,
pool
baby.
of cards.
I think the most I've ever put in a deck is like 75. And once I hit that, I'm like, I don't care if there's a better card out there. I'm not going above 75. Like, we're stopping there, and then we're whittling.
Jay had one that was 130 cards last week. So
Yeah, Chewbacca, or not Chewbacca, Jabba the Hutt blue deck. I was trying to decide what kind of archetype I wanted to do with it, and the deck ended up being terrible. So it went from 130 cards to 0 cards real quick.
That reminds me of like most of my commander deck lists where I like start on an idea and I'm just like, this ain't happening. We're done here.
that happens to me fairly frequently. You like think of 2 cards that you're like, oh, these work so good together, and then you just like sit there trying to like smash them together for like 20 minutes, and then you're like, no, I'm good.
That's the
Yeah.
beauty of a game that I've been playing a lot recently, Marvel Snap. You only have to put 12 cards in your deck.
True.
That is a benefit of
Yeah,
that
but you
game.
start with like
I agree.
87, right? And then you whittle down to 12.
That's right.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't even let you.
Yeah,
That's the
true.
beauty of it. You can't even slot 80 cards.
Yeah, you couldn't even pretend. Yeah, I've been building lots of decks. I was sick last week. I lost my voice. I couldn't talk, and so I was just sitting in the basement quarantined. And so Mike and I were able to jam some games, and that was super fun because I got to try a lot of new things that I haven't put on the table. So that was kind of wild.
Do you guys agree that this is the most exciting time in a card game? It's like new set just about to come out. You're playing with new cards and stuff like that. Because I think there are some people that like the game better when I guess some meta game is more established. Maybe they're less into the creative deck building side of things and more into just like finding a deck that they know is already good and like throwing it around. What's your
I don't know.
guys' take?
Creativity. Yeah,
It-
this is my
it
favorite part by
depends.
far.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that too. I totally understand like 2 months in, and now it's more about the skill of like understanding the meta and understanding what kinds of cards people are putting in their decks and trying to kind of play with your deck, knowing what they have in their deck. Like, I totally can see why people would enjoy that too. I don't know. They're different. I wouldn't really compare them.
That's fair.
I think I like this time the best. The Wild West, where it feels like the possibilities are endless. I know I'm not going to crack the code on like the best decks. There are much better deck builders out there, but this feels like I don't know, like when the whole TCG idea started, Richard Garfield with Magic. It was just like, oh, you're just gonna have these cards and you're gonna throw them together and you're gonna figure out what you could do, and there was no idea of like a meta game when TCG started. So I feel like this is like the purest form of throwing it all together. I do think, to someone's credit, I forget who said it in our Discord, but I never considered this, but this is like the most percentage wise our card pool will increase, because it goes from 1 to 2 sets. So it's 100% increase basically. Whereas in the future we'll have 2 set, we'll just have a third, so it's maybe not as overwhelming, but it could still feel like pretty crazy. But it does feel a little you look at the DB and you're trying to figure out how to build a deck, and
It's a lot harder now.
oh my gosh, like there's so many good cards that I will probably leave out of my deck now, and I'm enjoying it. I do think when it comes down to like, okay, I'm gonna go compete, or I'm gonna go show up for the first, because the first planetary qualifier is in the fall before set 3 comes out. I think it's like October is what they had originally announced. So when it comes time for that, I won't be bringing any homebrews. Like I will be depending on smarter people at that time. But yeah, it is fun. This is my favorite time for sure. Okay, but apart from that, I got to play in a booster draft this week, which
Nice.
I'm jealous.
Not many people doing that these days.
It's like normally that's like really boring news, but right now they're like, well, how did you do? Yeah, so our buddy Frank, who's also my neighbor, he bought a box like months ago. And he's been wanting to do this kitchen table draft with like this group of friends for forever, and we could never find a date that worked for everybody. And then finally it happened this week, and got to go. And he threw some burgers on the grill, and everyone brought some stuff, and we just did a draft. And what's kind of cool is there were 5 adults and 3 kids between ages like, I don't know, probably 9 to 12, and they had never drafted before, and so it was kind of cool to introduce them to this whole new world of games that, so it was a blast to do that. Ended up drafting IG88, my boy, for limited in green, mainly because I saw next to me, because he's passing left after we got all of our leaders, I had Sabine, Leia, and IG88, and I was thinking, okay, I'll go Sabine or Leia pretty easily here. But to my right, he had only heroes. And so I was like, man, he's going to pass me all the villain stuff, like every single time. I don't know if I can pass this up. So went full IG88. So had a lot of fun. Did end up losing to a Boba Green deck, of all things. Classic. But had a great time. It was super fun. And it made me really excited for just set 2 drafts. And I'm doing a cube draft this Sunday, too. So it's just Draft City over here. All right, so set 2 is spoiled. Everybody, we've got all the cards. We've seen everything. There's no surprises. So my first question for you guys is, 1, have you signed up for a pre-release? Because it's coming in, I don't know, a week and a half. And then the second question is, before you see any of your cards, is there a leader in mind that you're like, man, I really want to see this leader in my sealed pool? Let's just pretend your pre-release is giving away a box to the winner of your pre-release, and you're like, gonna get real sweaty and try hard to win the box. So is there a leader you're hoping to pull in that sealed pool?
That's a good question. Ray seems like she might be pretty good. Hondo's probably pretty good and sealed.
I'm still a big Cad Bane fan. I think even in limited, he's gonna be really good.
I've been really excited about Jabba. I think Jabba's sweet. I love the capture unit on deploy as well. I think with the amount of bounties and things that can happen with capturing, I think we're really good. Just kind of grinded out kind of deck. So I would love to see some Jabba.
Han's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Just like
Han's
lets you
probably
play
sick.
cards that are a little bit more expensive on average in your deck.
Yeah, Han. I mean,
I guess it might even be easier to talk about which leaders I don't want to see.
yeah.
Be Finn and Afra.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want either of those. I wouldn't want to play Jabba in a sealed pool, but that's just me.
I don't think I'd want to play Kylo.
You don't want Hunter. Like, you definitely don't want Hunter in this.
I forget
Probably
Hunter
not.
exists. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm sad we don't get to play starters in.
No, the pre-release boxes come with the starter leaders.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they're hyperspace, Moff Gideon hyperspace.
Mando.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I saw someone post in chat today that only way to play with Mando or Moff Gideon in draft is in draft. Got it. I thought they were talking about the pre-release. Okay, yeah, no, maybe I'll play Mando,
But
just for fun.
We do need to talk about the fact that Moff Gideon and Mando are getting showcases in the set where
Yeah, they
Luke and
are.
Vader didn't. So if you
Will
get
there ever be a showcase?
there better be.
For sure.
There
I've always
honestly,
thought those
there
are
has
going
to
to be the
There'll be
big
some
prize
kind
of something.
prize. Yeah, I'm sure that they will be, but I want them now. Also, it is really sick that like you could get Giga lucky and pull one of those showcases in a draft and actually draft one of those leaders. I think that's super fun.
Yeah, that is
Wait,
cool.
that's hilarious. Yeah, because that's the only way you would.
The only way that you can draft those, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like for the normal person, they'd be like, "I got to showcase. This is the greatest day of my life." For Mike's like, "Yes,
Like,
I finally
yes, I
get
can
to draft
these guys.
Gideon." About time.
I feel like you're obligated to like force the character too.
Yes, 100%.
I did pull that showcase Krennic in my sealed pool for the set 1.
Oh yeah, first that one pre-release.
That I sent to Mike.
Yep.
And so it never actually saw the table. It just went right in a sleeve in a box. And
Yeah, I actually
and
haven't played
something
it
else.
either. So yeah, it has never seen the table.
I actually ended up playing Cheer that pre-release, and I won the pre-release. So
That was some foreshadowing.
For sure.
that's actually the same store I won the Cheer for the actual store showdown too. So
Well, there you go. There you
maybe
go.
maybe that store is just my Cheer store from now on.
Can also
okay.
say like how absolutely insane all of the showcases look for this
Yes.
set.
Yeah.
They're so
Like,
nice.
They all look
Even
amazing.
better than set 1, like
Yeah.
some of the set 1 ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
It's going to make it both easier and harder to get all of them. Easier because I want them all. Harder because everybody else probably wants them all too, and they're going to be more expensive.
yeah, and it's like almost all of them were an upgrade from
Yeah,
the
from the
original.
original
Like
one,
in
yeah.
the set 1, now all of them were an upgrade from the original. But in this one, the only one that I think isn't an upgrade is like the Finnick one doesn't look as good as the original to me.
I think the Boba one is a little less exciting.
And the
than
Boba
original.
one doesn't look like
Just
look as
because
good.
like the normal Boba art is so sick.
It's
like
so good.
that's such a good piece of art.
Yeah.
I need that on a mat. Like it's just so good. Not to say that the showcase is not good. I just think like
Yeah. It doesn't look
the
as good.
normal one is just like an absolute banger.
Yeah, but all the other ones are total upgrades.
Yeah. They're so sick.
So you guys ignored my first part of the question. Did you sign up
Yeah, I
for any
forgot.
pre-releases?
Yeah,
I
two.
haven't yet. None of mine have posted to be able to sign up. So
I already talked about the two that are in 5 minutes away from my house.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's right. That's right.
And I nodded my head like this, and I'm sad that you couldn't read that. But yeah, that was I signed up for one pre-release.
Yeah, I'm booked for 2 right now. I'm hoping to do a third. There's another one doing one on that Tuesday, the following between the,
nice.
the release weekend. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's better. I don't know. But it being the July 4th weekend is actually better for me because I'm off on that Thursday and then off on Friday, so it just works really well for me. But
Nice.
I'm pumped. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It'll be good. I feel like at my local store, we were doing like the sealed escalation league, and that was good. And then it ended, and it just sort of like trailed from there because we weren't doing tournaments, and store showdowns took off. And then, especially here in the Chicago area, it was like every single weekend, Saturday, Sunday, had store showdowns. So it was really hard to have a weekly casual because everyone was using their kind of weekend time to go compete in store showdowns and farm all the Mace Windu's. So
Yeah, talking about store showdowns. Do you
Yes.
want to bring up the
yeah, Mike,
set 2
what you
store
got? What do
showdowns?
you want to talk about?
Well, I the cards that you get from the set 2 store showdowns is what Lady Proxima is like the participation promo, which is fine. I think that's all right. But the placement prize is unrefusable offer, which is a bounty card. I feel like it's such a downgrade from set 1. Set 1, you have number 1. It's a legendary Mace Windu. Like you're moving from a legendary to a rare. Now you're also moving from like an iconic character in Star Wars with like a great piece of art to a card that who knows if people are going to play it and it's like not as iconic. I don't really get the decision. I don't really like it. I wish that they would have
it
done
should be super
some
iconic.
legendary.
I feel like all of them should be just like super
Yeah.
iconic.
They should have just done
characters
like if they're gonna go from legendary to rare, like do Maul. Like that's
Yeah.
an easy one. I would rather them stay legendary though. Like they did hero last time. Let's go villain this time. Let's do something like I don't know, like Kylo or something like that. There's options. I feel less compelled to win one of them because I don't care about the prizes as much. I don't know
Yeah.
if that will be true for everybody, but
I think there's some truth to that. Yeah, me going to try to win a mace is like, oh, it feels like there's some actual skin in the game here where there's not cash prizes.
Even though
included in
nobody
these, which,
plays Mace, like it's still
Right.
It's Mace.
It's Mace Windu. Like,
It's Mace Wind
a
Doggy
legendary.
Dog.
You want as many of them as possible. Right.
The only person who plays Mace is on this video.
Yeah.
Mike. But yeah, it's like me trying to convince somebody like, oh, you could come win legendaries and like multiple copies of them, like a rare that I'm gonna get in one box that I open up.
Yeah.
Is a lot harder to kind of convince people to come out for it when it's like that is your prize for winning. Like some stores just don't have extra packs to be tossing into it. So it's like if I'm trying to put money on this to play in the event, and I'm getting a rare card that, like you said, may or may not play. And if you are, it's not like a card that you're excited about. Like, if Mace is going to be good in a deck, you're building around Mace, and like that's fun to do.
Like it has like that, you know, the DJ art, which is kind of like the meme, like the maybe like meme, which is like maybe that's we can insert meme here, but like maybe that's why they did it. But then just do DJ. Like DJ's a legendary, so like that could have been cooler. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed.
It was very weird to go from Takedown and Mace to
Worm Lady. And
like a very
Some
obscure character.
A completely neutral card,
Yeah.
and then a bounty card.
Yeah, it just, to me, I'm like, I don't know. I think that formula of make the participation one a cool event, I think so people get it, and then the top 8 a character, because it does mean something different to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to win a character, like even an uncommon like Jango Fett, like if it was like a foil Jango Fett something.
Yeah,
I like.
sick. Yeah, I agree
Dude,
with
I
that,
would
actually.
I would love that. And Jango's such an
then
iconic
perfect.
character.
Yeah.
Because it would have went
agree
from
with that.
this party's over Mace Windu to headless Jango Fett.
I think it was just a rare miss that I'm like, I'm not as excited about this round of store showdowns. But
Yeah, well, maybe they saved the good prizes for the planetary qualifiers that we still don't know anything about yet.
Or Gen Con.
Well,
Hopefully,
we already know what there is at
Well,
Gen Con.
you never know. Maybe they come in, they got a prize wall all of a sudden.
yeah, there you go.
That'd be cool.
It could happen.
Which for us would be cool because we're at Gen Con. But
It could
for
happen.
something that's like
Yes, I love that
nationwide.
so much, Jay.
But yeah, someone said like maybe they downgraded the value of the prizes so that the competitive tryhards aren't as like motivated to come and rake them up.
I don't.
You know,
No, I don't buy that.
I don't either. But I'm like, well, I
mean,
just don't.
They need to make promos like Lorcana's promos that are selling for $10,000, $2,000, $15,000.
That'll be
They look really good too.
They
like
do look really
I don't
good.
play Lorcana anymore, but those cards look really nice. They need to hire whoever does those for this.
They do
Or
look
we
nice.
should
I
jump
agree.
back into some, other games.
I actually went to the comic book store yesterday, and they had one copy of that cooperative Lorcana box.
Oh.
I asked them how much it was. It was $150. I was
What?
like, I'm good, thanks.
Why?
It's sold out. You can't get it anywhere. They're also selling Star Wars Unlimited packs for $10 each.
That's
Oh.
ridiculous. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like it's sold out, but like, why are people paying that much for it? Is there like, are there booster packs in it? Or is there anything like exclusive in it?
I think
or they
there's
just wanna
some
play the
like
game?
cool promo cards in it and crap like that, but I
Interesting.
don't know. It's just sold out, so people are paying out the butt to get it.
Gotcha.
It's Lorcana.
Yeah, true.
Makes sense.
On another promo standpoint, we did see like the weekly play boosters for set 2.
Oh yeah, those look cool.
Yeah, those look pretty cool. There were some in there that I was like, I don't really
There's some
care if I
really
pull
good
that,
ones in
but
there, though. I like the Emphas one. I like the Falcon one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those look really good.
yeah,
I don't remember which other ones. I have to go back and look.
yeah. I won't read them off because it'd be a lot. But there's definitely some ones that you're going to see on the table, and obviously all the hyperspace versions of the starter ones, like Razor Crest, looks so stinking
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's got like clouds and lasers on the corner, and it just
Those
it
are
looks
always my
sweet.
favorite. Are the hyperspace versions of the normal starter deck cards.
Did you guys collect like a full 20 set of the OP weekly play boosters? Like the 20?
I actually
I don't
don't know.
I haven't checked.
I have
need to
them in a
look.
pile right next to me, but I haven't sorted them yet. I also have like 10 sealed packs for no reason. I don't know why I've kept them sealed.
Oh, nice.
But Yeah.
I mean, I got quite a few, and I still didn't get like a full playset.
Really?
Like I'm still missing a few things. So I was like, oh man, these are actually kind of, I don't know, cool. Like again, it's just a cool concept. I love that they're doing it, and it definitely makes me want to get out and try to collect, and even just like being able to change my deck out. Like the Greedos in my Boba deck are cool, like the Bossk, like a foil Bossk.
I still love that this is sort of how they're implementing organized play rewards and
really well
incentivization.
I like the Relentless Pursuit looks really good. The Cloud Rider looks really good.
Yeah, the Cloud Rider looks sick. It's cool that they did Cloud Rider and Enfys Nest.
Yeah.
They kind of match.
Yep. And then obviously I love getting starter deck hyperspace cards.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like 5 Luke's lightsaber hyperspace cards from OP. I missed some, but I somehow have all those. I don't think I pulled a single stormtrooper from the OP.
Rip.
Wow.
So, and I opened a lot of packs. Like I don't know, but if you're out there and you've got a bunch of stormtroopers and you need some Luke's lightsabers, hit me up. But yeah, okay. I thought we'd play a little bit. I shouldn't call it a game because it's not a game. There's no prizes. It's all imaginary gold stars and purely subjective opinions here. We'll just call this a possible recurring segment that I'm just calling this or that. I'm going to give you 2 options.
Okay.
Of anything, and you just have to choose between the 2. So, did you say that?
Is this like would
It's
you
not.
rather?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's just this or that.
okay.
No, you just have to choose.
Like would you rather this or would you rather that? Is that what you're saying?
Why are you adding words? That's so verbose,
You
Mike.
can get with this.
Why
that's
say?
what I was thinking too.
What's Kevin's line? Why use
say-
many
Why
words
use many
when
word
few
when
do few word do trick?
It's my motto.
So good. All right. So first, this or that for you guys: Jin or IG88?
This.
That. IG88.
Just say
That.
the actual word.
IG88. Also-
IG88 for sure. Yeah, same.
I also say IG88.
Jin is. There's nothing exciting about the play style, in my opinion, of just, okay, you can kind of whittle down your opponent's enemies, but it's so, like, not impactful. Where IG88 is like, okay, in theory, I could make a board flood deck and have IG88 hit the ground and actually do some cool stuff. So it's like, it's not there right now. It may never be there, but it's at least something each set, as I see the 1 cost come out, the 2 costs come out, could IG88 possibly work? There's at least some excitement there.
Yep.
Yeah, Jin is boring. And that is why the answer is IG88.
And David did not pick Jin for his most recent draft, and that's why he also agrees.
I didn't actually have a chance to pick Jin, and I have played IG88 most times in draft, so I will also pick IG88. However, it wasn't that big of a difference because I think the one thing Jin has going for her is she's in the right color for you to play stuff like Cunning and Bodhi Rook and New Adventure and all these crazy yellow
Villain
cards.
is just so far ahead of Yellow Hero right now. Maybe set 2 will change it, to be determined, but as of right
But
now.
Yellow Hero has Spark.
That has some
And
good cards,
Spark
don't get me
is
wrong.
being sideboarded in decks that are neither yellow or hero.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my one thing. I'm like, I feel like she has access to better cards in general, but
Sure.
I don't know.
That's what you want to say.
Just play Han.
Jin might be the worst.
That's not an
leader in the
option.
game.
On was not in the question.
Jin is for sure the most boring leader in the game.
And Ari might be the worst.
It might also be the worst, yeah.
Might be the worst. I do miss the days
I don't know.
of
Hunter's
Jin as
pretty bad.
S tier sealed or limited, but
I think
we didn't
people
quite
still
make
like
that
her in
happen.
limited, but I just think
Yeah, it's
she's
fine.
boring.
So boring.
I'm just gonna
Yep.
keep saying
That's
it
okay.
until it's
Mike,
not
when
true.
you said Jin may be the most boring leader, I thought you said Jim, not Jin. And I was like, oh gosh, we got some beef on the podcast today.
FFG, if you want to make me a leader, you can make my card text blank. I don't care. Make me horrible stats. I would still take that in a heartbeat. I'm cool with it.
All right, next this or that. Looking at the showcase cards, specifically showcase.
Ooh, okay.
Ray or Kylo? Ray or Kylo? Which showcase card
I need to look at him again.
you want?
I don't even need
Pull 'em
to.
up.
Kylo.
You can open in the Discord if you need to look at them.
so
Oh, we're
sick.
Where's
picking
Discord?
just based on the showcase, like
Just showcase, yeah, just
Only
showcase.
showcase.
Yeah,
like
not-
which one I would rather have.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, then it's not just showcase because I would rather have the leader that I would rather play.
Well, see, that's why this is subjective. You can take it whatever way you want.
Kylo, 100%.
I'm still trying to find these showcases.
It doesn't matter.
Just
Kylo's cooler.
open Discord, open spoilers.
I think it's.
I'm there,
I think
don't
it's
you
Rey.
worry.
I think for me it's Rey. I think
Rey's
the art,
looks cool,
the art
but,
is just
like,
so sick.
I'd much rather
Like,
have Kylo.
I can play the normal version of either of them. Like, I mean, like we're gonna have both showcases, but
I was about to say, this
prefer
doesn't
the Rey
matter for
showcase
Mike.
better. I prefer the Ray showcase. Just
Mike's
as a
game
piece
is
of
this
art.
and that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they-
they're both
Exactly.
they're so sick. We can
What's
both
that?
admit, like, they knocked both of them out of the park.
Mine's also Ray, by the way.
Just like the
I think it's some of
pose
the
and
coolest art. Yeah.
the composition, the
Yeah.
Oh, it looks great.
colors. Like, man, it looks so sick.
I just think Kylo is a cooler person.
I'll join Jay.
That's
I'm
not-
gonna say
not
Kylo as
wrong.
well, but it's close. They're both. That was a good this or that for sure.
The Kylo does also look sick, but I think if pressed, I will say Ray.
I just really want to make Kylo work. That's not in an aggro deck.
I have a Kylo Ren lightsaber on my arm.
Yeah,
not
you're
a Rey
obligated
lightsaber.
to say Kylo.
That looks dangerous and poorly made. What do you mean?
All right. Next one. Next this or that. Are you going Rebel Tribal or Underworld Tribal?
Underworld,
And why?
because Cad Bane's Underworld, and that's my favorite deck. That's
All right.
it. That's it.
Underworld.
I'll say Rebel. I feel like Rebel is just such a clean. You know what you're getting into. Underworld is, doing some sneaky things for sure. But
It's fresh. I've been playing Rebel for the last 6 months.
You need a little bit of fresh.
I want
Fresh
my
traits.
answer to change because I want to play with the new cards for sure. But I think right now I'm gonna stick with Rebel.
Yeah, I'm going Underworld as well because I'm tired of starting all my decks with 3 Fleet Lieutenants and 3 Wing Leaders.
Yeah.
And we've been accused of being the hero-only podcast, so we
I'm
have
only
to-
playing villains this set.
That's although your first
Hold on.
Underworld deck
I
was
was
a
about to
Ray
say.
Underworld deck.
I was about to say, coach.
Let it be said though, Wing Leader's not auto-include anymore in Rebel decks. Some people are saying it's too slow, and
It's true. I did go down to 2 in my cheer deck. That
there you go. I think in
ultimately-
Sabine it still makes a lot of sense because you're buffing Sabine out of takedown range and the new Chewie range. But in a lot of the other decks, it is too slow.
Mike's first deck is Ray Underworld.
I'm going.
Absolute maniac over here.
The first deck I posted.
He does like Cad Bane. So speaking of Cad Bane, Mike, you don't have to answer this, but
All right.
Cad Bane or Bossk leader?
Well, that's actually really hard for me because I love both of them.
All right, you can participate then. I'll allow it.
Just in general, power level, excitement to play.
You take the question however you want, Jimbo.
You're so right. You're so
Cad
right.
Bane.
I think
Follow
it
your heart.
probably is still Cad Bane.
Cad
He's
Bane.
just so fun. I love playing him, but I also love Bossk. Man, this is a hard one.
Bossk scratches more of like the deck building itch that I want to make work. And so that's why I'm going to say Bossk. But I feel like I'm just being different to be different at this point. But the double bounties to like really lean in to make those like work at its fullest potential. I think because bounties didn't work so great in Destiny, I really want them to happen. And I think it is a cool play style that just could throw a nice little extra layer onto like what you're playing around. So I'll say Bossk, even though upgrade hate is about to get so real.
The bonus that Bossk has right now is that Red Villain didn't really get a chance to shine in set 1. So like being able to play Red Villain in a good deck this set will be pretty cool.
Like a non-Vader, non-control
that's
sort of
non-Vader.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I've been, at least the last week, I've played a ton of Bossk, and I'm kind of obsessed with Bossk decks right now, so it's hard for me to not say Bossk, but I think like overall, I think Cad Bane is a little bit cooler. Also like his showcase better, so
Yeah, I like Cad Bane as a character more than I like Bossk, so
Yeah,
that's why I'm
same.
picking Cad Bane.
Yeah, for me, I think winning with Bossk would feel more satisfying than winning with Cad Bane because it feels like you have to work a little bit harder to win with Bossk to do cool
More setup.
things.
Yeah.
So I think if you succeed in that, it'd be like, oh, yeah, I did it. But Cad Bane is so... I think just on a power level, I feel like Cad Bane is a little stronger just because it's just passive. Like, oh, I play this, you take damage. I play
Sure,
this, you take
yeah.
damage. Like, it's just
Yeah.
death by paper cut. So, yeah, it's actually pretty hard. I think that's why I asked that. Like, I don't know. But I think I lean ever so slightly toward Cad Bane because then I can't screw up as much as I probably will with Bossk. So,
Yeah. I think Bossk will be stronger earlier and may start fizzling out. I think decks that require setup to happen, like you learn little tricks and like things that you can tech into your deck that serves like dual purposes to kind of counter that. And so I think eventually if Bossk does get strong, obviously the upgrade hate will happen. The pieces that it's like, okay, you need to set this up to make it happen will kind of make it fizzle out. Where Cad Bane is just on its own engine that's doing work. So my hunch is that Cad Bane will end up stronger, but Bossk may be starting out a little bit better at the start.
All right, guys, last one. Number 5. Premier constructed or booster draft?
That's hard.
I don't know.
That's hard.
That's tough.
I haven't done.
They're so different.
I haven't
like,
done enough.
My excitement
booster
for them is
drafts.
so different.
Like, I've only
Like,
drafted in
week
person like
one?
twice.
Booster box draft after I have a complete set.
I think
Constructed.
I actually think there's
I'm
something
with you
to
there.
that. I think like at the beginning of a set, draft is more exciting, and like later on, constructed's a little more exciting. Because I think like after a draft metagame is sort of solved, it becomes like kind of boring to draft. It's kind of just like, okay, like you know exactly what to pick based on what leaders you're drafting or what archetype you're going for, and then it's like I feel like it can get a little bit samey because you're seeing the same like commons and uncommon cards like dominate like over and over again. Maybe yes, that's the same in constructed, but you have the ability to affect sort of how that plays out a little bit more constructed because you're building the deck. So, you know, it gives you the opportunity to surprise your opponent by playing cards that they're not expecting more so than draft. So I think I'm cheating and going for the first half of a set's life cycle, it's draft, and then the second half it's constructed.
Here he goes. This and that from Mike. All right.
But I think most of us are agreeing with that take of I love draft
I'm not.
to like build out my set. I said most. I love draft to build out my set. I don't buy a case. I would love to, just don't have the financial ability to. So that helps me a lot with kind of keeping up with my list, what I still need, and can draft accordingly while also being competitive as best I can. I'm not just drafting legendaries, but it's helpful. So I think I get excited for it early when the set's so new. But I love the puzzle and the meta side of the game. For me, like the competitive itch that I get to scratch is for sure the more exciting part in the like long term.
Agreed. If I had to pick constructed, for sure. I don't think it's even close.
All right, David, tell us why we're wrong.
No, I'm not. You're not wrong. It's a subjective question. You can, whatever
I don't
floats
understand the
your
game,
boat.
apparently.
Clearly, you're like you
Jim
guys
lost.
are overthinking this.
Zero
Yeah,
gold
Jim,
stars.
you lost.
Zero
Yeah,
gold stars.
5 gold stars to Jay and Mike, and 0 to Jay.
Wait, Mike also did the same thing that Jim did.
Oh yeah,
so-
yeah. Mike only gets
Mike's
1
different.
gold star. Jay gets 5.
I get all the gold
That's great.
stars because I answered this and that. So I get the gold stars for this and
Classic.
the gold
He's
stars
just
for
grabbing
that.
everything.
That's
Yeah.
like one of my moves over here, like for tied for third place. Like this and that.
No, I honestly, I could draft every week at casuals and I would be totally happy. Like I wouldn't want to never play constructed, but I always enjoy drafting. It's been like that in every game. Like if I could play sealed or draft in any game I've played, I would just do that in a heartbeat. I think in constructed, sometimes I just get bored of like, okay, I've played this deck. I've played against this. I know what to expect. Some people love that. They love the like chess feel of that. I want the unexpected. I want the random. Wait, that's in there. Oh, that did work. Oh, I have to kill that Jawa now because you played this thing. You know, like that just satisfies some part of my gaming soul that I love. So
I appreciate that.
I could draft all the time. Yeah. And then I'll just tell me what a couple days before a big tournament. Just tell me what constructed deck to play, and I'll pick it up and we'll see how it goes. And I'm good from there. Also, super random. I don't think this would be suggested officially by FFG, but do you think a booster draft would work with you play with 3 packs each? What if you did 2 set 2 and 1 set 1 booster? Do you think that would mess everything up, or do you think it'd be more interesting?
I think it'd be a worse experience probably
Agreed.
because at least set 2, like the mechanics are so insulated to the set that like there's not very many Underworld cards in set 1. There's no smuggle cards. There's no bounties. Like there are a lot of cards in set 2 that specifically revolve around the new mechanics, and you don't get any of those in set 1. So
Yeah, fair.
I feel like it would be kind of weird because the majority of what you'd be drafting would be set 2, and then you sort of trying to figure out where the set one cards that you draft like fit into what you drafted. But yeah, I don't know. Like there are like back in the day, like I don't know if they still do this because I haven't played Magic the Gathering in years, but they used to do it like 3 set blocks where like set 1, set 2, and set 3 of a block all had similar mechanics and themes. And so even though the specific mechanics and keywords were different from set to set, or some of them were different from set to set, they generally like still worked together. And Star Wars isn't doing that so far. So I think if they did that in the future, makes more sense for something like that. But as of now, they feel very like separate. They feel like separate things. At least that's my opinion.
You're probably right, but no gold stars for that answer, just for the record.
Sorry. It's all right. I've got enough.
Last thing I wanted to talk about, I had an idea. I was brainstorming recurring segments that we could come back to as we continue to push out the Conversation Lab. I want to do a recurring segment just called Community Shoutouts, and then we'll close this podcast out. But I want to take a moment to shout out people in the community, whether that's in your local community who have no online presence or someone online who's just doing great work for the community, and just highlight what they're doing. I think there's a lot of people in TCG communities who I think need an example to follow of, oh, that's what it looks like to contribute to a positive, healthy community of games. Because we see so many examples of the opposite. And I've heard a few random ones recently where I was like, you know what? We've got a platform. Let's highlight the people who are doing it right, not just the ones who are doing it wrong. And it's not about necessarily who wins the most or whatever. It's just anyone who makes a positive contribution to the SWU community. And so it could be, we could shout out one person, we could all 4 go. Obviously, I knew we were doing this, so I've got mine locked and ready. But does anybody want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I've got someone to shout out.
Go for it.
Jay's got someone to shout out too, but he's muted, so I'm going to take it first. I'm going to shout out Parker from SWUDB because he's got a lot of work to do with all these new cards that are coming out, and I feel he is very underappreciated by the community. Maybe appropriately appreciated because literally everybody uses his website, and it is the only place to build Star Wars Unlimited decks on the internet. I know that there are other venues to do so, but none of them are actually used. So yeah, SWUDB is awesome. Parker, you're doing an awesome job. Keep doing it, please. Because I don't want to have to use the other platforms.
Yeah, I'll double down on that. That he works tirelessly and works a lot of hours for
unsung hero.
Yes, for very minimal return. And I don't know how to do any of that, so I'm especially grateful for guys who can figure out how to do things.
Oh yes,
that I couldn't contribute. And truly, like, this community would not be the same without his work. So thank you, Parker.
Yep, I would take a second to shout out who I think is probably the greatest community member. Or member we have in the community, and his name is Jay. Myself.
That's good.
Mike, can you mute Jay? He can mute himself, but
David, you gave him 5 gold stars. Let that be clear. You gave this man 5 gold stars. Go ahead, Jay. Why yourself?
You know, I go out of my way to post tons of deck lists in our Discord for anybody to use. That's probably the best deck lists that you can find on the internet. And I just put them out there for free. I don't even charge anybody to do that. That's just my own spare time I'm giving you.
It's just charity. It's a real service to the community.
That's so sweet.
You know,
your cape is still at the dry cleaners, but we'll get that back to you soon, hero.
As long as I get my blue jeans too, because I look great in those.
Glad we took this segment seriously.
Thanks, Jay. You can mute again. It's fine. It's fine.
David, what you got for us?
All right, I'm gonna shout out one of my buddies here. His name's James. I'll just use last initial. We don't need to be throwing out last names, but S. But James is just always fun to play. Even just listening to him play in competitive store showdowns, the entire time in a game, he's just complimenting, like, oh man, that was a great play, or oh man, your deck is so interesting. That's really cool how that works, or whatever. Whether he wins or loses, like by the end of the game, like you've just had a good time. Like he's just the kind of guy. If I'm gonna have to lose, like I don't mind losing to James, and he does beat me, but he just kind of brings in that light in any tournament. He's not afraid to ask questions and just makes everyone feel comfortable, and it's like one of those things where like this feels very natural for people to do, to connect with another human being and have conversations and encourage the other person. But because you hear about the types where like they'll win at the end of a game and they'll point out all the things the other person did wrong, and you should have done this, you should have done that. And it's like, gosh, I just want to roll my eyes so badly in those moments. Unless they're asked. If they're asked what they could have done different, that's different. But if they just offer it, it's like. But James is the opposite, man. He's like a hype man for you, like while you're playing against him. And some people might think it's like disingenuous, but that's just who he is. It's like truly just a joyful person. So shout out to you, James. Keep doing you, man.
That's awesome.
All right, that's all I got. Any last words?
Great conversations.
Get your pre-orders in if you can. We'll see you in a couple weeks. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.